welcome to episode 0 of Quilting Rockstar. Now, if you're here and you're going, what on earth does that mean? Darcy and I have decided that it's time we have a YouTube show, and this is going to kick off officially in August, but Kato is here, and so we figured we needed an episode 0. So my name is HollyAnne Darcy, and it is my job to guide you to quilt with confidence, and I'm joined today by my beautiful shop associate, Darcy Struble, as well as Kate Brennan from Aurifil, and we're going to talk Sky Cabin, Aurifil, EPP, and whatever else we come up with while we're here. All right? Sound good?
Sounds good.
Sounds lovely. All right. Y'all take a second and introduce yourselves, and wherever you are tuning in from, introduce yourself in the chat as well.
Okay. Like HollyAnne said, my name is Kate Brennan. I work for Aurifil Thread, USA, which means I work for the office in Chicago. Aurifil, if you don't know, is an Italian cotton thread company, and we make several different weights or thicknesses of cotton thread that is primarily, here in the United States, primarily used for quilting and fiber art, sewing, a little bit of garment sewing, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. It just shows up in some pretty amazing, amazing places. So right now, I am working with our 50 weight, which is our most popular weight, and going to be doing some English paper piecing while we're chit-chatting here.
I love that, and I'm working on gluing my little pieces right now. I'm Darcy Struble, and I work here at the shop. I teach some garment sewing classes, and I teach Quilting 101, and I just am a very passionate sewer creator of all things that are fiber. Yarn things, fabric things, all things.
All the things. Love it. Yay. And here in the chat, welcome Sharon, Lainey, Carla, Amy, Alicia, Estelle, Martha, Cheryl, and others. Woo! We are thrilled to have y'all join us. So I think let's start with maybe a quick overview of thread.
Okay.
For folks who weren't able to join us for Aurifilosophy yesterday, let's give them like the 3-minute, recap.
Oh goodness
Or
gracious
something.
me.
The 3-minute recap.
Yeah.
So as we're going along, we're going to show y'all some, especially with threads, some special collections that are only here for today while Kate is here. So make sure that you take advantage of the fact that we have them in stock and that they're in the shop right now. And we're going to do some education for you around like the different weights and why they're so cool.
Yeah. So most of you, if you're tuning in here to String and Story, you're familiar with HollyAnne's amazing, beautiful work. And are fans of it, as am I. I've been so fortunate that she has done, actually, I've snuck a couple projects in that she has quilted for me, and they're just my favorite
that I've quilted too.
HollyAnne uses the 50 weight
Right.
thread, which is not our thinnest, but one of our thinnest threads, and it's probably the one that is considered all-purpose.
That's part of why I like it. Love me a good all-purpose moment.
But Aurifil makes a bunch of other products too that may be better suited to the project that you are working on. One of the threads that we highlighted last year, one of the weights of threads, is our 40 weight, which comes on the green spool. It has a green spool base, a green core. The 50 weight has an orange spool base here. So that's how you know, like at a glance, what it is that you have in your drawer. The 40 weight is actually Aurifil's original thread,
which I learned yesterday.
Yeah.
I learned a lot yesterday, actually.
So it was developed for the high-end linen, high-end fashion embroidery market through Italy. And so it's a little bit thicker. So the smaller the number, the thicker the thread. It's counterintuitive. So just try to file that away.
It's the opposite of needles, just so we're all constantly confused.
Right. Exactly.
That was
So the 40 weight is such a beautiful thread for machine quilting and machine embroidery. It works well for hand piecing. It works well for tons of other applications. Garment sewing.
I've used it for top stitching with great success.
Yes,
It's beautiful
because
stuff.
it's a little bit thicker, so it shows up a little bit more. on your project. So 40 weight, green spool. After that one, the next one that's a little bit more thicker, even yet a little bit more thicker is, that's not a thing.
It's fine.
Yeah.
We got you.
The more thick, excuse me, is the 28 weight, and that comes on the gray spool. It'll have a gray spool base, a gray core, and this is even thicker than the 40 weight. Again, beautiful for machine embroidery. My personal favorite for machine quilting, because
Alright, I gotta
it
work on
shows up so nicely on your projects. And as I have been practicing and logging my hours, with my little
Yeah,
practice
Kate's in Promotion
sandwiches,
Quilting Academy.
I want my stitches to show. And I want that quilting to become another design element of my project. And so the little bit thicker thread is really good for that. Also great for top stitching,
Yeah, you've
decorative
done something
stitching
like
on apparel. Again, machine embroidery, hand embroidery. You can double it, and it'll you can use it for hand embroidery
In
as
that
well.
color on denim.
Ooh. Yes, very good, very good. Oh, that would be really cool.
It would be so
Yeah. Oh my
beautiful.
gosh. Okay, no, focus.
We have plans.
Anyway, the other thing that I really like about this is because it is a thicker thread, and it shows up a little bit more, but it's not too thick, so it's not problematic in your machine. You are not going to have to screw with your tension a whole lot. It's very forgiving. A little bit bigger needle, but if all you have is a 90, that's okay. You should use a little bit thinner thread in your bobbin. You don't have to. Some of our designers do, some of them don't. The book,
I'm being called out right now.
product guide, this is an amazing piece of information. I think the book says you should use a 40 weight in the bobbin. I don't. True confession. I don't. I use 50 weight because I wind, 20, 30 bobbins at a time, and so I use 2600 or 2375
Or 2800.
or 2800. Yeah. And I'll wind a whole spool at once, and so that I don't change my bobbin thread. I know I shouldn't.
You don't have to. That's not a should. That's, I know some people do. I've chosen not to.
Okay. Fair enough.
Y'all know how this is. By the way, these
28
product
weight.
guides, all of y'all amazing humans who've been ordering thread over the last 24 hours, you're all getting one in your order. We still have some. So if one of these thread collections we show you, you're like, I gotta have that, I gotta work on that, we'll make sure you get one of these physically as well.
Yes. Then the thickest thread that we make is the 12 weight. Also can be used through your machine. This one though looks amazing for big stitch hand quilting, for embroidery, for top stitching, anything decorative that you really want to stand out. One of our designers, actually whose collection I am using right now.
This is the Subtle Sampler by Karen Miller.
She uses it actually in lieu of wool thread for her wool applique.
Ooh, that's good to know.
Because it's not quite as fuzzy.
And it's not as hard to get a hold of.
And it's not as hard to get a hold of. And it gives it a little bit cleaner stitch than using a wool thread. So anywhere you would use a wool thread, you can use the cotton 12 weight, and it is great for that. Karen also put in her subtle sampler, she put in a couple of spools of our monofilament, which is kind of like the unsung hero of Aurifil.
It is.
It's not a cotton thread, so we don't talk about it a whole lot.
Yeah.
But wow, it is a really soft nylon clear monofilament thread. So it doesn't show, like if you're using it to raw edge applique or to do anything like that, or even needle turn applique, because you can use it with for hand stitching. Because it's so soft.
Yeah,
That
it is
was
really
like-
soft.
actually-
I used it on quilts.
It
Yeah.
behaves like thread.
That was the question I had for you, the big question, because the only thing I've ever used that for is sewing patches onto a Girl Scout.
Girl Scout uniforms. Yes.
uniform.
Okay. So.
So give me more. What else do I need it for?
Well, anytime you want the texture of stitching, or you need you have a larger area on your quilt that needs to be quilted, but you don't want the quilting to be part of the design element. Like
Okay.
you don't want it to show. Because either the fabric you're using is the star of this particular project, or the piecing is the star of this particular project, but you need to, because you should be quilting about you don't want huge chunks of your quilt unquilted, because then after washing and it gets all bunchy and everything. The monofilament is a really nice solution to that problem.
Oh, okay.
And we have it in 2 colors.
And related to that, Lainey has asked, is it shiny like some other brands?
No.
I agree. It's not.
No.
Yeah. And one of the reasons is because of the 2 colors.
Right. So
Yeah.
we have a clear and a smoke. And on the spool, the smoke looks really, really dark. When you get it out of your, I'm not going to unwrap this one. It really isn't. So if you're working on navy blues or dark grays or black backgrounds, you want to use the smoke rather than the clear. And that also helps cut down on the shine.
Yeah.
It has a little bit because it is nylon.
Yeah.
And it is
But
nylon. It's not polyester. So
It's not like, why is there fishing line on your quilt? It
Right,
doesn't
no.
look like that. It
No.
blends in really well.
and it bends, and
Yeah.
especially after being washed.
Yeah.
It just, you don't
It's
even really
beautiful.
know it's there.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So Aurifil in a nutshell, here we are.
Aurifil in a nutshell. There we go. Keep swimming.
I know, it's
Check
a great.
Redbird Quilt Company.
Mhm.
Karen is freaky crazy talented.
That's
Yeah.
a great box because it just has, I mean, that has everything that you need to try.
Yeah.
And
the colors
in
are
a very
really
nice palette.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
if you're a modern quilter, if you're a little more traditional, it really
Yeah, show that up.
yeah,
Dude,
yeah,
look at that.
Because her color selections, well, she's always really good at that.
Yeah, I mean, you have enough light stuff that could be a neutral for just about anything.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Do some
It's
piecing.
very beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this collection, we have a couple of them. We have
Yep,
one
we've
or
got-
two
we've got
of
2
them
left
left.
of
I think
those.
2 left.
Yeah.
Comes in the great box for storage. This is great if you don't want to keep everything from this collection in there. It's good for retreats.
Oh,
It's good
yeah.
for packing and grabbing stuff. I actually have one. It's back at the house,
Yeah.
and I have one where I have in one cubby I have my spool, and then I have my paper pieces, and then I have my glue stick, and so I actually use it
Yeah.
for a to-go
Like a to-go thing.
kit.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. All right, so you want to do a quick overview of these other collections we have floating
Yeah.
about?
So
And then we'll end with, let's end with color
Oh, well,
because
and-
that'll go into our EPP.
Oh,
Really
gotcha.
Yeah.
So so I brought in, because HollyAnne doesn't normally carry other weights in the shop.
Mhm.
When I was coming down, I tried to pick a couple different multi-weight collections so that you could, try some of these new things
Yeah.
that are maybe new, and they shouldn't be very scary. There's tons of education out there. The Auribuzz.
The Auribuzz blog is phenomenal. Yeah.
And the search bar by subject is really good.
Yeah.
Erin is really good at that.
Yeah, she is.
But we've got, is this the cinnamon rose? Oh,
Yeah.
the cinnamon roses is
It's
great.
so pretty.
She's got a couple
So good.
spools of neutral 50 weight, 3 spools of 28 weight, and then 4 spools of the 12 weight in there.
That
all
is
in-
hand embroidery on a shirt would be
Yeah.
So good. So good.
So good. A really pretty gray here
Oh.
and a like mustardy color,
I love it.
and then some pinks and peach. This peach is
So
beautiful.
good.
Beautiful,
I love it.
beautiful.
Yeah.
So this is sweet cinnamon roses. Sweet cinnamon. We have a couple of these.
Yeah, we
like
still
2,
have, I think 3 of those.
3
Yeah.
of these guys. Okay.
would be 2 after I buy one of these.
Oh, yeah, right?
And so
This is our last one.
This is
Shit
our
art.
passion
Yeah.
flower. Oh my gosh,
I'm
Joe
obsessed with this collection.
Avery.
The variegateds are so good.
Variegateds are way fun.
Yes. So Joe Avery's Passion Flower collection is a bunch of, it's only 12 weight, but it's 10 different colors, 10 different spools. Do you want to show that up?
Yeah,
I
show
will.
this up.
And she put a couple of variegateds in there. And when you use them to embroider with, or I've even seen people crochet with the 12 weight. It's a really neat effect.
Which
So-
one would you
yeah.
recommend the 12 weight for wool applique?
Yes.
Yeah, 12 weight for wool applique, lady.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
And then we got 2, 3.
And then
Three left of these.
yes, we have one left of that one.
Yeah.
Sarah Hibbert. This is a new collection that came out at QuiltCon this year.
Oh, really? I love that.
Along with her book with Lucky Spool, which I tried to get some to bring, and I couldn't. I'm so sorry. But this collection is a little, it's not quite as pink as the cinnamon roses.
Yeah.
It has a few other colors in there, but still very, very applicable to lots of different styles.
If you're
of
starting on
quilting.
fall projects, this would be a great box
This could
for
be.
fall
Mhm.
projects. Yeah.
A couple of spools of the 50 weight, some of the 28, and then she put 40 weight in here as well. And Sarah Hibbert, if you're not familiar with her, she does a lot of collage quilting and art quilts. And so the different types of
Darcy's been inspired.
I know. Can we just for a second?
Darcy?
Yes.
Like,
Look at this,
Like,
all
right.
of the fields.
Ooh, okay,
like
so
that was perfect. This is
Yeah.
a very fall mood.
So
here.
this is the Laurel Fat Quarter Bundle, and
Yes.
this is the Sylvia Fat Quarter Bundle. And
Okay.
oh, you're right. It match this would also match the block that you made today, Darcy. And show us that. So Darcy's been working on the new Toad and Sew Sky Cabin. We have these kits actually behind us. And let me tell you, this collection would match perfectly.
I know. Sorry to distract you.
No,
Like,
yes.
does that just like bridge the gap from like summer to fall?
It's
So
so
beautifully?
well. Oh my gosh, I love it.
Yes. But this is a really nice collection to introduce yourselves to some other different thread weights.
Yes.
So
I love it.
Yay.
Now, the final star of the show that we have with us tonight, you actually can't quite see them up on the thing behind us. I'll tilt it up real quick so we can see more of them. Have you, Henry? Okay, we'll just.
So the color builders. Color builders
Dun, da, da, da.
are is a set of 12 different boxes, 12 different collections, and they're all in a color family. So there's a green box and a red box and a purple box, and they have a medium, a light, and a dark in each color family. And I'm actually going to open this one
Yeah, do it.
because
Oh, here we go.
Because you need to see the
Satisfying
concept.
ring.
And this is a really great piecing collection
This
as
is.
well as
Look at
everything
these
else we're
colors.
talking
These
about.
are gorgeous.
Those are
This
so
is
the
the-
Verona mauve or mauve,
Yeah.
depending on your preference of pronunciation.
Where are you from?
Are you from the UK?
That center color, this is it 2375? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
This color, if you're a fan of Jen Kingwell, you are familiar with this color.
Oh yeah, we sold her last collection
Did
today.
we?
Yeah. I was about to reach for it. I was like, nope, never mind.
This has become my new favorite neutral.
It's a
It
nice
is
neutral.
edging out 2600
Oh
actually.
no!
I know.
I'm so
because-
very 2600 loyal, but I understand why.
Because it brings it, I can go to navy, like I don't have to change if
Yeah.
I'm showing darker
It's a
things
true
or
medium.
lighter. It is really
And 2600
a
is
good
a light.
Mhm.
Well, granted that. That's,
Um,
yeah.
And the gray that is in this mauve box, that sounds weird. The gray that's in the Verona box, is one of those mushroomy colors where it reads gray, but it reads beige, depending on what's around it. So like when you
Yes.
put it
It
with
kind of
this,
green.
it does, it's,
Yeah.
I love
It's really
these.
Here, hold
pretty.
that up so they can see, because the way I look
Yeah.
at the camera, they can't.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, they can't see it, okay.
And I have here. I can hold it up over the
Lainey
block
says, I'm
as
loving
well.
this year's color colors. Ooh, that does. I love that.
It's very pretty.
It is, yes, it is one of those colors, again, that just sort of fades away into the background.
Oh, that's you.
No
Um,
color builders for you.
So, anyway, there you go. And,
So what is one of the things that we love to do with 50 Weight Room, Kate, that we're going to talk about here today?
well, so I have been on the road for a month and a half so far.
Oh,
Like,
a while.
and I don't get to go, well, I mean, I'm home for 24 hours, but I am traveling like crazy and still like get the stitching bug. You know, you spend time in the airport, you spend time at the pool, hopefully. And time, all sorts of places, and you can't necessarily bring your sewing machine.
That's
all of
correct,
these things.
unfortunately.
Although I did carry my Bernina 530 on the plane.
Yes.
I got
Doable, maybe not our favorite.
very strange looks from the TSA people.
Clearly they don't sew.
No. So I do a lot of English paper piecing because it is a wonderful portable project that I can just take and go. I don't need a ton of supplies, and I can work on chunks and chunks and chunks, get home, put all those chunks together, and I have a finished project. Next week on the Aurifil blog, we will be launching this English paper piecing pattern. It'll be one of our free patterns that is available. And it coordinates with the box. It coordinates with the color builders. So, you know, the design for this pattern was inspired by the box.
Look at it. You can
So-
see how you can see the pattern on there. It's so cool.
Matchy matchy.
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 And it doesn't have to be dark side up. It can be, you could do light side up. You could be light side or dark side.
I just love it.
Yeah. Dark side has
everything about
cookies though. We like the dark side. The dark side has
The
cookies.
dark side does have cookies. You're
Dark side
correct.
has
Yes.
Star Wars people will get that.
Yeah.
The pattern is designed to go along with the relaunch of the color builders that is starting next
Yes.
week. So
But what if they don't want to wait till next week to get the pattern? Can you tell them about this, and then we're gonna actually show them how to paper piece?
Oh my
I know
goodness.
that y'all are
Okay,
waiting
okay.
for your tips and tricks, and we have them. You're not.
So we have put together in HollyAnne exclusive.
It is exclusive. This is the kit and caboodle.
And the caboodle. So in this handy little project pouch, we have a printout of the pattern. We have all of the paper pieces that you will need, plus a template to help you cut your fabric. Some little snips. We've got
Just
a
so
few little needles in there in case you don't have any. So you can. This is like just something you can grab and go. It comes also with a sew and glue pen,
Yes.
so you can
That's
do
where
your
you've seen
basting.
Darcy doing her basting over
Darcy is
here.
basting. And it's all in this cute little project pouch, ready to go. And I think we have like four of these left, maybe 3 or 4.
So all you have to do is you get your kit, you pick out your favorite box to go with it. So you have your threads, and then you just need fabric, and you're gonna be ready to make this project. And
Yeah.
Kate's gonna show us.
Couple of fat quarters. It doesn't
Yeah.
even use a whole fat quarter per color.
Oh, that's delightful.
Yeah. So use your scraps. Pick up a couple of fat quarters from,
You want
grab
help?
a bundle.
Yeah, I
and-
got especially the new bundle. Ooh, hold on, I gotta.
Oh boy.
Okay.
And I'm using
I
I'm
have
using
it
all my
with this
scraps.
one. This is my new. This
Oh,
is
yeah.
my new bundle. I am loving this one.
Are we showing favorite
Which one is
bundles?
this? Maryland.
I want to show Kitty because Kitty would match, I think, Amalfi and Tuscany pretty well, or
yes.
or Sicily and Como.
Could be.
You could get
Yeah.
two out of that because you've got a light
yeah.
and a two different color families.
Yeah. So the light.
So we have some of these little bundles that would be really great sub-ins as
I was
well.
thinking of like these. Oh, just too
Yes,
too much
I
fun.
love it.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So a quickie demo. We
Yeah.
are basting.
Fine,
You are
basic.
doing
Okay.
a great job.
Yeah,
So
talk about
just
basting,
keep
Darcy.
I'm
going.
practicing my technique here. Okay, talk us through it while I do
Okay.
it.
So you're just a little line of the glue on the edge of the paper. You don't want to get it too close to the edge. Life doesn't end if you do. It's fine. And you just go around and you glue all of your edges down, and then it will look like this. I actually have sewn
those.
two
Yes.
pieces. I've sewn 2 of these together. Oh, here we go. It'll look like this on the back. And then just a really simple whip stitch is all that you need to do to put your pieces together. You just hold them together. I've already tied a
I'm
knot.
gonna move the camera closer to you.
Okay,
so you can see.
cool.
We're gonna do a close up.
We're gonna do a close. Lovely.
We are moving.
Very close.
Oh,
And tilting.
Hello.
All right, there we go. So now it'll be a little easier to hold it up close to
So
the camera
I'm
as well.
have two pieces together. I'm gonna stitch this seam together. I have them
So the two mediums and you fold them over each other.
Two
Yeah.
right sides together. And I tied a knot, a quilter's knot. I'm gonna do just a very, just grab a few little threads from each piece there. So a real simple whip stitch. There's a couple different stitches that you can do. Jess with paperpieces.com has an amazing tutorial. Tula did an amazing tutorial with,
I have a super basic one, but anything beyond very basic bits, we will send you to someone who knows more.
Type of project is that it is super, it doesn't get any more complicated than that. It is, that's it. That's all there is.
I've watched the Tula one while I was drinking coffee. It's a great
Oh
morning
my gosh, I
coffee,
love that.
Yeah.
Watch.
So you want your thread to, it's nice if your thread gets close and matches the fabrics that you're putting together. That way.
That's why these are so handy.
Because that way, if your whip stitch is not as perfect as it should be, because, you know, life. No, we're not friends.
We're not friends at all. I don't
Not
know
at
why
all.
I would have given that away.
Because here, and I'm gonna tie a knot. I just finished this one side. Hang on, gotta stick out my tongue so I can tie the knot.
Hold it up
there.
close so that they can really see. Like
Yeah,
get way
so
up in
this
the
is the
business of that.
seam. Is that up?
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
Perfect.
So you can see, it's
And then
just,
what's it look like on the back?
it
with the stitches?
looks. Are we focusing
Yep, that's
in?
perfect.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
You can see it's just a real simple little whip stitch. And really, the more you practice, the obviously, like everything, the more you
Yes.
practice. And then this little guy is going to go on here. I'm not going to. You don't have to cut your thread between chunks.
That was something I learned from you this morning when you were explaining it, because I always have.
You don't have to.
So I really
It
like
is
learning that.
important to knot each time.
But to not each time, yes.
That's just a safe. That's like saving your document after every time you make an edit.
Yeah.
You know, it's fine if you don't, but just in case something breaks, just in case you stitch the wrong piece to the wrong thing, ask me how I know that. Then it's easier to take out. You know, it's just.
So basically, when you started this, you went ahead, I watched you knotted that
I did.
again,
Mhm.
and then you're gonna go down, knot at the end, and then when you add a next piece, if you had enough left, you
Right.
would keep going, but not at the beginning.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yvonne wants to know, when do we take the papers out?
So you take the papers out once. Okay, there's a lot of different ways to do that. Toward the end
Towards the end.
is
Okay.
the easy thing.
That's why there's a lot of pieces of paper in the kit.
Right.
Yeah.
And many people reuse their pieces, but I wanted to make sure that you had enough in there to do the whole project.
There you go.
So you could get it all basted and in your pouch and then take that pouch with you lots of places.
Delightful. I love that.
Because the
That's a
basting,
lot of papers in these kits.
the
No, these are a
basting,
deal.
you know, is something you need a surface for.
Right.
This, you do not need
You don't need a, this is a campfire activity, this is a concert, on
this
the
is
green
a-
activity.
Yeah, this is a sitting in the airport kind of activity kind of thing. So,
Yeah. Front porch sitting.
you want to always have, as these pieces get bigger and bigger and you're folding and manipulating things, it is easier to take out the papers that are in the middle. You always want papers in the outside, like in the outer edge, like a frame.
Yes.
Um,
Stabilizes everything.
yeah, I don't always do that. I just keep folding because I'm not going to reuse these.
Right.
When I'm done with, I'm usually like done with it. And
Yeah.
I need to go on to a different
A
something.
different- yes.
And then I'll come back to something else. But I also, these finish, 15 by 16 or something like that, 15 by 17 maybe.
And look how cute they look in a hoop.
And we put it in a hoop. We put
Don't
it
you want like a few over your couch in your living room? I know I kind of do.
We have, the neutral ones are hanging in the office above the fireplace.
Oh, see, and I would like to point out, you could do these for holidays. You could do them in holiday fabric.
Oh,
You could do them in holiday colors and bring them out as like a wreath alternative.
It is.
Oh, I
yes.
love
Very
that.
cute.
Very, very the template the cutting template that I have put into the kit and caboodle is translucent, so you can use it for fussy cutting if you're using a pattern fabric.
What's fussy cutting, Kate?
What is fussy cutting? Fussy cutting is where you're very purposeful about what you want in the center of that piece. So on the template, oh, thank you. Wow, gosh, you guys.
Setting you up for success
Here we are. You can see on the template, there's an outline here, and that is the same size as your paper. And then we put a 3/8 seam allowance on this rather than a 1/4 inch. I find it's easier to just have a little bit extra room for ease.
Life.
Yeah.
Room for life. Room for life.
You know, I used to show horses as a kid. I've broken my fingers numbers of times, and they're just not as nimble
See, there we go.
as I want them to be. But if I'm using a pattern fabric, I can put my template and make sure that this little tulip that is here on this adorable fabric is like right where I want it to be, right in the middle. And so when I go to baste my little paper in, I can make sure that the thing is right where I want. And a lot of fabrics, you can get some really neat like kaleidoscoping, repeating designs. If you mess around with it, it's really kind of fun.
That'd be a fun thing to do with this too, play around with how you can get some
Ooh,
kaleidoscope
get
on that.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about that Halloween fabric we have coming at the end of the month. And those little death head hawk moths.
Oh, in the 3 different colors.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna have to make it. I made 12 of those. I might have to
You might have to
make some more.
Some more, yeah, you know.
Just so I have to make more.
saying.
In all of your spare time.
In all my spare time, yeah. So that was, those were in the Aurifil booth at Market, the last market that we had
They were
before
also
all of the
Quilting
crazy.
2020.
They were at QuiltCon 2020. They were at QuiltCon this last year too.
Oh,
They
that's right,
show up
they were,
lots
yes.
of places. Bradley really likes them.
I mean,
So-
you worked really hard on it. And how lovely that Brad appreciates how much work you
Do
put into
appreciate.
this.
I love that.
That's really helpful.
Yes. In the kit and
Yeah.
caboodle, we also threw in a little nugget of beeswax for thread conditioner. You don't always need it, but there are days where my fingers are just not doing what they need to do, and I need a little bit of help. And so if you just rub your
Look at this,
look
at us again.
if you just rub your thread along the edge of the beeswax, then it'll just give it a little bit of extra.
And it'll help your fingers if you're, especially during the winter, if you're working on this.
Yes.
It'll be a little.
And I'm assuming
Yeah.
like if you were having a day where it's just everything's tangling, that would help with that.
Yeah, and it's
Thread has a nap, and if you mess that up, maybe
Right.
you'll need some extra thread conditioner.
I found like it's a technique day. Like I just don't have it some days, and the
Yes.
project still needs to get done.
Yes.
So
Yes.
any little tricks that we can do to help that
I love
is
it.
so lovely.
Yeah.
So
Brilliant.
I think
What
we
other
got it
questions
all.
do y'all have? Can
Yeah.
we answer any other questions about thread, about English paper piecing, about the sky cabin pattern that has come out from Toad and Sew and the kits we have? Any of the other kits or boxes you've seen us show? Oh, I have one more thing to show.
Oh boy.
Those of you who are with me during social hour on Wednesday, we talked about whether or not there were going to be color card updates for the new paintbrush studio solids. So these are the new solids over here behind Kate and Darcy.
They're so
And this is the existing color card with the 168 original colors, which if you don't have one and you want to work with our solids, I highly, highly, highly recommend it. It makes it so much easier to shop for fabric online because you can actually see a little swatch of it. Similarly, while I'm talking about color cards, same thing with the Aurifil color card. Aurifil's color card actually has thread wrapped around so you can see the actual color of the thread, which I think is so valuable.
It's 40 weight that's on there.
Oh, that's
in
delightful.
case little piece of trivia.
more trivia. Kate and I have already been talking about perhaps there being an entire video about the color card and all the info on this color card in the future.
Yeah.
But just know it's super valuable in the meanwhile. So,
Does that mean you have to come back, Kate?
It
only
does.
Zoom her in.
And no, that means we gotta bring her back.
Yeah, she'll be back. Fear not.
Yeah.
I do at some point have to go home.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I
I have
suppose.
strong feelings about that, but
Oh, if you have to.
if you must.
you'd let me bring my dog, I would be a little
I mean, I
less
would
apprehensive.
not be opposed to dog. We've got to talk to John about the pet weight limit. Apparently. It's real low. It's real low.
Yeah, we can work on that.
Anyway, so during social hour on Wednesday, that was wonderful. We were talking about what to do for those of you who already have the color cards, or those of you who ordered these that are not yet updated. How can you get a little sample of each of these new colors, whether you want to make your own color chips with them or whatnot? And we kicked around a couple of ideas. We even talked about making inserts for this. And ultimately, I arrived at, like, that was going to be too labor intensive on our end to keep it affordable for you. So what we did today is we cut 5-inch square packs. All 42 of the new colors. They're absolutely beautiful. Here, I'll come get close so you can see. They're really, really pretty. There's a nice picture on the website. And these are $12. So you can get an actual usable amount of these new fabrics. You can cut out your 1-inch square if you want to make a color card for yourself. And then you actually would still have enough left to do some really lovely EPP. I would just like to point that out.
Oh, yes.
You could make a rainbow one, which I feel like would be a great plan.
Oh,
Personally.
love
I know.
That is
I know.
My plan is to go through all of these. I have scraps. So my plan is to go through all the sprout
Oh,
wovens
that's a beautiful
from the pinks over
idea.
to the blues.
I love that. So I did want to let y'all know, Rockstars, I know this is not necessarily an ideal solution and that it's not a color card, but this way there is an affordable way for you to get samples of all the new colors, and it is available now, which is brilliant. So those are up in the shop, ready and waiting for you. Lainey says, oh, Belinda, I'm thrilled that you caught us. That's so delightful. Lainey asked, what kind of glue do you use for your English paper piecing basting?
Okay, so I really like the Soline glue pen for a couple of reasons. One, it's not quite as strong as like a Elmer's school glue stick. So your papers come out a little bit more easily. It also is a little bit thinner tip, and you can buy refills for this. I think that the one that's in there has
Let's see.
a refill in it.
How cute.
And then you
Oh, it
have
does. Look at that. Yeah,
So-
no, we've got some too, which I need to get those up in the shop actually. But
Okay,
yes,
cool.
they exist.
excuse me. And so it's a little bit easier to control, and you don't get too much glue on your paper, which isn't, I mean, again, this is a very forgiving thing. So it's not the end of the world if you get too much glue on there. You're gonna notice it when you're taking your papers out.
Yeah.
So I really like the Soline glue pen. There's a couple other, I know, like, there's a couple other brands of glue pen. I've tried them all. I prefer this one. But in a pinch, you know, I've used stolen the glue stick from my son's box.
Yeah, at my house, I've been known to fight my kids over glue sticks.
Yeah.
So there's that.
They're unwieldy.
Yeah,
and so-
they are. I always end up with glue on my fingers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alicia says, are there templates to cut more paper pieces?
So the pattern has a template sheet on the back that you can run through your copy machine or your printer at
It's got
home.
one of the little test
And it's got a
square.
test square, so you can cut
So
more.
cardstock?
Cardstock.
Print on cardstock. Yep.
You know,
And then you
something
can
with a little bit of body to it, so when you fold the paper over, you know where you are.
Yeah.
But not too thick so that you can still manipulate it. It's, you know.
That like normal copy room cardstock,
Yeah.
not like the crazy, no, that's the one that goes in here.
Oh, yeah, we better
We'll
make sure that.
we'll
goes
tuck
in.
that back in
Okay.
before we lose it.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
so the subscription cards that you find in magazines work really well. I mean, it doesn't have to be pretty because you're taking it
That's
out
true.
and getting rid of it, so,
Yeah.
that also works.
Love that.
And where do you
Phenomenal.
buy your pieces if they want to just buy the pieces?
Oh, well, HollyAnne has some here in the
There,
shop.
there's
There's
the shop, so
some.
they're physically here in the shop, they'll be getting up online here soon.
You have, half hexagons and full hexagons
Brilliant.
here.
Kate brought these, that's why she's informing me of
I'm
this.
telling you what you
Yeah.
And there are templates.
Like, this is news to us.
There are you have templates for half hexagons and for full hexagons
Brilliant.
here also.
Yep, which will also make their way online here soon. So if you're wanting these in the immediacy, these kits are gonna be your easiest way. For future refills, we'll get those stocked up online. Yep.
There you go.
Brilliant. Any other questions? Lainey says, I've been saving the blowing cards from magazines to make templates when I finally try EPP. Lainey, I feel like this is a sign, babe. This might be your moment.
Yeah.
Just saying. Just saying.
Today's the day.
Today's the day.
Jump in.
And Vaughn, do you feel confident now? I know you said at the beginning that you were really here because you've been nervous about it and you wanted to learn. Do you feel confident to try EPP? And are there any other questions we can answer before we wrap up?
Because I'm sure there's stuff that I'm not thinking of.
It's really quite straightforward. Like, it looks fiddly and all the things, but it's more straightforward than it maybe looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you really, like, this one. There you go.
Look at your cute little Betsy.
Oh my gosh. It really can make you look like you are
Just way cool.
And it's always, well, it's not always, because you can do round ones. But I mean, it's a straight seam. It's it's one stitch. It's a whip stitch, and it's, you know, usually not. You're usually not doing huge, like until the end, until you're throwing all of your rows or chunks together. However you wish to work on it. It's not.
Wouldn't this be
You
fun?
know, it's real simple.
To like put these onto a charm thing.
Oh,
so it's
and then you could,
Very
yes,
cute.
that's
You could
just an
just
applique.
use
Yeah. You can practice your applique with all your new thread weights
Right.
and your new paper pieces on your new charm pack, and then it'll be cute little charm
Oh,
quilt.
you can border it
Oh,
out
there'd
like
be lots of
flowers and
things.
stuff on it.
With some little, these could be like little flowers, and you can put little centers
With
on
the
them.
lily pads, and you could embroider a frog.
Oh my
So
gosh,
many
I love it.
ideas.
Oh my God, so many good ideas. So, Rockstars,
mind
thank
is
you
just-
so much. Two other questions. So one question, if folks are watching, they're like, this looks like fun, but I have enough whips. You know, I don't want to just like plow through another thing. Is this a plow through it kind of thing? What kind of project is this?
This is a work on it when you have time. This is like I always have a pouch with a something in it in my bag with my computer, and so sometimes I take the train downtown because we live in the suburbs of Chicago, so I commute down to the city. Sometimes I take the train and I stitch on that. Like I said, a doctor's waiting room, airplane. Like this is my favorite thing to bring on the plane with me because these scissors, you know, they fall well within the guidelines.
That's really nice.
You know, and it
Just
doesn't
little needles.
need anything more. You don't need.
You don't even really need your
ton of
tray
stuff.
table. You can
No.
hold this in your lap. So you're just
Yeah.
get your audiobook going, folks.
Yep.
Like, yeah. Ooh. I'm
yeah.
flying to Seattle at the end of the month. Now I'm thinking I might in fact need to
Yay!
Oh no.
It's one of those just like sort of grab it and go. And what's really nice about it, what I like, is that even if a project sits in a pouch for longer, like over the winter, and because it was in the pool bag and I didn't maybe clean that out at the end of the season,
You know.
it's real easy just to pick right back up. You don't need to count stitches. You don't need to remember where you were in the pattern. It's all pretty
Pretty straightforward.
obvious. It's like a puzzle.
I like that. I like that. And then Pamela says, I would love to try EPP, but I can't do that much hand work. Is there a way to do this by machine?
So I have seen people who base their pieces and then starch them pretty heavily, press them, and then remove the papers and do a real fine zigzag stitch.
Wow.
And so it gets, you just, you know, need to make sure that those two pieces are butted up next to each other. And so I have seen people do that. I have not yet done that. And that's where your monofilament might be a really good, really good thread to use for that because you don't, especially if you're putting pieces together that are different color.
It wouldn't
It
show.
doesn't. The design stays the focus of your
Brilliant.
of your project.
I love it.
So yes.
All right. Well, I do believe this has been a successful episode 0.
I'm excited about this.
So Rockstars, just to recap as far as the products that we've shown you, everything that we have shown you is really quite limited. These thread boxes and thread kits are really only available through today. So if one of these has struck your fancy and you want to get it through us, please make sure that you jump on that. It's all in the shop right now. These kits are listed. We have, I don't know, less than a handful left. They've gone pretty quickly today. And then the charm packs, these are less limited. They are fresh and new. So if you've been keeping your eye out for a way to get a sample of all of these 42 new colors, that's now available. And then finally, these new kits for Sky Cabin by Code and Sew. These are very limited. I think we've got one more baby and one more throw at the moment. Hey, that's enough. And we're limited in how we can restock. So I just want to make sure that y'all are aware of that and that we've made sure that we shared that. So thank you all for being here. It has been delightful to share with you all about English paper piecing and these beautiful threads. And thank you both for demoing and sharing. Bye y'all.
Bye.